Hello there, everybody. I'm Dr. Allie, and lovely to see you. Volume a bit low. Just turn yours up. When we come to the videos, I will change the video to the correct thing for that. I'm Dr. Allie. I'm a UK functional medicine doctor specialising in women's hormonal health, long COVID, chronic Lyme disease, and chronic fatigue conditions. I've been a primary care physician for 30 years, and I've been practicing functional medicine since 2013 or so. Today you're going to hear about some amazing technology called LifeWave, and you'll find out all about the science behind it, how it works, what it might do to help you and those people you know, and the opportunity that you have to be able to help yourself, your friends, and even to create an income from it. And that's completely up to you whether you have an entrepreneurial bent or not. But a lot of us are looking for additional income streams at the moment in this time. So I'm just going to set this right. And I'll keep an eye on the messages as well. So I'm just going to share my screen. We'll start with that. Then I will go to here and slideshow, presenter view. There we go. Hope you can all see that well. If you could make sure you're muted, I'd be grateful. And let's get started. So I came to this technology thanks to the famous George. Many of you know George. George is amazing. And I've known George since 2009 when we did some business courses together. And we've kept in touch over the years, maybe once every couple of years ago, said, hi, how are you doing? I know that he had a cough that came on whenever he talked for more than a short period of time. And anyway, he once got in touch with me and said, yes, if you turn your volume up, Omo, everybody else, let me know if your volume's low as well. And I can just, it's difficult adjusting things. Oops. Is that any better or worse? Gina says the sound is fine. Andrew says the sound is fine. So I'll just carry on. So George got in touch with me in November. He sort of touched base with me again in December. Eventually in February, he caught me on a day when I had a little bit of spare time, and he said, and I said, well, what about now? He said, I've got something I need to talk to you about. And his follow-up was exceptional. He was very, very good at sending me the information that was right for me personally. It's not a standard. You know, I can take in more technological speak than the next person, than a lot of people. And so you do need to, the way you're talking to people with this needs to be personalized. I hope that makes sense. So what we're talking about is this patch here that you can see on her shoulder. And it's just the size of a Band-Aid. It's a small patch. And what it does is it elevates a peptide in the body called copper peptide, GHKCU, which in turn activates our stem cells, which in turn leads to our body being able to regenerate in many different ways. And that's what we're going to talk about today. For me personally, when I first started it, the very first patch, the first day I started patching, I experienced better quality sleep. And that I could tell that from the fact I suddenly started remembering dreams. And I hadn't remembered my dreams for decades, which is, and that's a marker for the quality of the sleep you're getting. Over the next few days, on day 3, my husband noticed his hand pain disappeared completely, which was, he'd had that hand pain for 3 years, and it was a bit of a degenerative change from playing American football, you know, having to grip the ball so firmly, and from other work that he was doing as, you know, manual work and stuff. So that pain disappeared, his ankle pain disappeared, and his knee pain is much better. For me, I've had sort of a few, you know, I've had lots of changes, but they're relatively mild and subtle, and you don't notice until someone mentions it. So I said to a friend at the first in-person event in London, I said to Mylin, I said, well, what changes have you noticed? And she pointed to her chest, and I looked down at my chest and realized that area that's so sun exposed was smooth again after being wrinkled and getting that premature aging. I've had my eyelashes grow longer. I've had an improvement in buttock pain that had been going on for 3 or 4 years and would come on whenever I was sitting for more than 5 or 10 minutes. I've had multiple improvements, but what is more profound is the improvements I see in not only my clients and contacts, but the clients and contacts of all of you. And we're seeing a huge number of improvements in people's health and well-being that is magical for me as a doctor. So what is LifeWave? Well, what we're talking about at the moment is X39, which is a stem cell reactivation patch. So this has technology inside it that activates our stem cells, reactivates our stem cells. LifeWave itself is a well-established business. It's 21 years old and it's open in now over 87 countries. And in the X39 patch was like the icing on the cake. It was already successful, but with the X39 launching in 2019 and the impact of the pandemic in 2020 and people's interest nowadays in peptide therapy, stem cell therapy, longevity medicine, regenerative medicine, biohacking, the sales have just increased exponentially. And that is where we are now, projected to have ongoing continued growth. This is David Schmidt, who's an amazingly humble man. He's a scientist and inventor from an inventor family. So he knew the importance of getting patents when you're inventing something, when you've got some intellectual property. He specialized in age reversing, and from 2008 onwards, as well as producing his other patches that he was releasing, he was focusing his attention on stem cell research and what was happening in this field of medicine and science and technology. The recent patent that he took out for X39 took 10 years and $4.5 million to bring to market. And that's that patents cost a lot of money to register. This is part of one of his patents. When you're creating patents for a product, you've got to patent the size, the shape, the color, the packaging, the logo, a whole load of things, as well as the way it actually works. And here we have a segment from that. Embodiments as a result of elevating copper peptide, including activation of stem cells, improvements in energy, elevation of antioxidants. That's just one section of these wordy documents, but you can access these through a website I'm going to share in a moment. So what happens? Why is stem cells? What's so special about stem cells? Stem cells are our progenitor cells. They're the cells that are present in multiples when we are first born. And when we're a fetus, we have them most when we're still in our mum's uterus. Then as we grow older, they drop off, so that by the time we're 60, we have a 90% reduction on when we're a teenager. But they are really important. They can help us to heal. And you may have noticed as you get older that you heal from cuts and bruises much less quickly than you would have done when you were 20. And this is partly because of the reduction in stem cells as we get older, as we age. How does X39 work? Well, it's nanocrystal technology, it's patented, and it's a form of phototherapy. It reflects light from the body to activate, and then that increases a peptide in the body specific for each patch type. And in the case of X39, that's the GHKCU, which then activates stem cells. It's non-transdermal, so nothing passes from the patch into the body. There are no drugs, no chemicals, no stimulants, no stem cells, either from, no stem cells from any source, not even plant stem cells. It's non-invasive. And remember, these LifeWave products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. This is a wellness technology. It's not a medical technology. So how do we wear X39? You can wear it anywhere in the body, but these are the two sites that we used in the studies for consistency, because you want as few variables as possible if you're trying to prove how something works or prove that something works. You wear your patch for up to 12 hours on, and you take it off for at least 12 hours to allow the body to repair and rejuvenate and become more sensitive to the effects of the next one. Then you throw the patch away. There are many of us in the audience who are using the patches secondhand on our dogs and cats and plants and bearded dragons and snakes and cheetahs. Then you can put a new patch on and repeat next day. You can wear more than one at a time. Often people use different ones. I've got 3 on at the moment. I've got an X39, an X49 and an SP6. You drink plenty of water to enable the electrical current to work and to enable the patch to function. What about long-term results with the X39? And this is taken from the website thisisit.info.com, which I'm going to share in a minute. We know that from research, increasing GHKCU begins to reset 4,000 genes within a few days. Within 6 weeks, we know the brain becomes balanced. We know that people feel less anxious and on edge, less panicky, and we see improvements in a lot of mental health symptoms as well as physical health symptoms. Within 3 months, we notice an increase in collagen. That will help with the quality of your skin, as you'll see in some pictures in a moment, but it also helps with your joints as well. There's a lot of areas in your body where collagen is important. And within 6 months, we see a heart age reversal. Nowadays, we can measure cardiovascular age, and in one study of 15 participants, the average using the X39 for 6 months, on average, they had reversed their cardiovascular age by 8 years. So in 6 months of use, their cardiovascular age was 8 years younger. Quite incredible. I've never seen anything like this in my entire career. It's age reversing, as David Schmidt says. So what are the benefits that we see? We see increased strength, we see reduced inflammation, we see increased stamina and energy and vitality, mental clarity. So anybody who's experiencing brain fog is likely to feel an improvement. I certainly did. Restored musculoskeletal conditions, improvement in sleep, and improved skin appearance. And you'll see some pictures to demonstrate that in a moment. So these are useful for anybody. Useful for athletes, useful for people who are feeling as they're getting older, they're feeling less strength in their muscles. Perimenopause and postmenopause, this is a time when we women lose muscle strength. A whole load of things that will benefit us. And our aim is to achieve optimal health, which is a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being. So we recommend that you use the patches for at least 90 days. Everybody needs a trial of X39 for at least 90 days, and that's the absolute minimum, because really I'd recommend an additional month for every decade of life. So that means if you're 60, I recommend you use the patch for 9 months before you sort of say, right, this is the results I'm getting. You're likely to see results before the 9 months, but you're likely to keep seeing improvements. I've seen different things improve after a year, after 18 months. So it carries on causing an improvement in your health. And remember, everyone's body is unique and different. So if, for example, you hear about somebody whose tinnitus improves or whose hearing issue improves within 3 hours, don't expect yours to necessarily improve in that same time. It might take 7.5 months for the same effect. Everybody is unique. Genetics, past exposures, present exposures, toxins in the body, so many things. There are so many variables. But one thing you can be sure of, this is improving your health. So this is one participant in a study of several people. This one is a 77-year-old woman who had quite a hyperactive brain when she arrived for the first session. You can see in the first session that her... Thank you. Sorry. You can see in the first session that you've got a lot of inflammation going on here. This scale here for the scan is showing increased inflammation and reduced inflammation. So there's a lot of inflammation going on first, and they were also measuring brain coherence and other things as well. So there's no brain coherence. By session 2, there's already an improvement in her brain calmness. We've got reduced inflammation and improved brain coherence. And by the 3rd session, after 6 weeks on X39, there's a complete turnaround in both the inflammation in the brain, the brain coherence, and also her brain was feeling much calmer. Here we have similarly inflammation reduction in a heart scan over a 5-month period, and you can see there's a reduction in the red patches. And here we see the effect in just 30 minutes with X39. On the left, you see pictures of somebody's back when they've got a lot of inflammation going on. Here's the upper back and here's the lower back. And then within 30 minutes of the X39 being applied, we can see a measurable improvement in the inflammation. Here we have a lady who has some pain in the joints at the base of the thumbs, which is a very, very common place for the first joint pains to develop as we get older. And she found that even after carrying the X39 for 30 minutes, there was this marked improvement that was measurable in the inflammation there. Now, you may be thinking, well, this is a placebo effect, surely. But in fact, it's not. We're even seeing improvements in animals. We've been seeing improvements in horses, dogs, a lot of different varieties of animals, cats. And here you can see this is actually 4 months of the Eon patch, which reduces inflammation. And you can see with this scale, the red, the purple and the white are even more inflammation than the red. And here we have, after 4 months, a vast improvement, and the horse is looking much better as well. I'd like to just share with you a video. So Dachshunds are bred to have very long backs, and that means leaves them prone to back problems, including slip discs. Oh. Sorry. This is after 4 days of X39, the same dog. What happy dogs, oh my goodness. So we are seeing that level of improvement in people. Okay, not everybody will see that degree of improvement, but everybody, 96% of people see some improvement. And my feeling is that the remaining 4% are often not using it properly. They're not hydrating enough, for example, or they're not using it every day, or they're not leaving it off for 12 hours. Here we have some examples of visual changes in the face, and you can see how marked they are. But when you're looking at these, don't just think in terms of, I want to look younger. This is just the outside, because what's happening on the outside is also happening on the inside. And you will find that people's liver health, cardiovascular health, joint health, gut health is also improving at the same time. And I'm a functional medicine doctor. I delve deep into people's physiology, but it takes a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of investment, not only in lab tests, but in my time to interpret them. With these patches, you're getting a great amount of improvement, in many cases more, just from applying a patch every day. Here we see Dr. Stacey. So Dr. Stacey is one of the doctors who's a brand partner. She started using X39 in 2021. And this is her picture in 2024. This lady, I love this picture. You can see how much less hooded her upper eyelids are. You can see the light shining in her eyes there, and much fewer, fewer wrinkles around the eyes, mouth, and neck. And this young lady, 1 year, you can see how much less wrinkles she has around her eyes and mouth after a year of using the X39 every day. Quite incredible. And it's not just a looks and appearance. Here we have some autoimmune diseases. Vitiligo is one, Bell's palsy is another, psoriasis is another. And these are, again, I've got to remind you that LifeWave is not intended to treat, cure, or improve the symptoms or diagnose any condition. But what we're doing with LifeWave is we are enabling the body to heal itself. And here, as a doctor, this is amazing, because as a doctor, the only thing I've been taught to do with people who have vitiligo is just tell them they've got to use camouflage makeup. But here we see such an improvement with 3 months of X39. I would never have expected this. This gentleman used X39 for a year and a light box as well. And look how perfect his skin is looking now. And then this lady with Bell's palsy, she'd had her face paralyzed for 18 months, despite high dose steroids, which is the usual allopathic medicine approach to Bell's palsy. The reason she's wearing the eye patch is because with Bell's palsy, you can't shut your eye properly and protect it. And so people get permanent eye damage. And that's why they have to wear the eye patch. Now, after 3 months of X39, you can see how much better that paralysis is. It's barely detectable now. Here we have psoriasis, which is thickened, red, itchy plaques of skin on the body. And I would never expect it to improve with anything with just 12 hours of management. And here we've got 12 hours, 36 hours, and 10 days with a big improvement in the skin. And this is somebody's wound healing after an operation. We wouldn't expect this degree of wound healing to occur at 12 days. Here we have venous stasis, so someone's got a lot of pooling of blood in the veins, and applying the patch causes an improvement leads to an improvement in day 5. This one's amazing to me. Again, as a doctor, as an everyday primary care physician, we see people with ankle swelling every day of our lives, and we can't do anything about it. We don't just treat them with diuretics anymore because that can upset the kidneys. But for this to have happened with 3 weeks of X39, and she can now see her bones again, her ankle bones. Amazing, amazing. Here we have live blood analysis, which is we're looking at blood that's just directly after it's been taken out of the patient or client. We're using dark ground microscopy. What we're seeing here is the red blood cells are stacked up in what are called rouleaus. They're not able to flow freely because of the viscosity of the blood plasma. And within 10 minutes of applying X39, then another sample being taken, look how freely these blood cells are flowing now. It's just mind-blowing. Here we have some examples of wound healing. 2 people who've had a fall. You look at this, after 7 weeks, you can hardly see that he had such a severe fall 7 weeks ago. And here we have a significant burn at 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, and later on. You can see how much improved that is. And this is the bane of many people's lives, isn't it? Men and women. Hair loss. Now, I would never expect the pictures to be in this chronological order. I'd expect it to be reversed. I'd expect to be this, followed by this, followed by this. And so this is another area where I'm just amazed at the impact of X39 patches on hair loss. And this is one woman's experience with the amount of hair they're losing when they wash their hair. So just a reminder that LifeWave products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. These success stories are based on personal accounts and do not reflect on what other people may experience. Remember, everybody's body is unique and different. However, I would like to introduce you to our Telegram group. This has over 1,000 testimonials grouped into over 160 categories, and you can see some of them here. So we have this hidden. We can't talk about these diseases in public social media. It has to be behind closed doors because of the hold the pharmaceutical industry has on the wellness industry. So you can't say that these patches have helped cancer because you can't, because it's not that, is it? What I'm saying repeatedly here is it's not the patch that's improved the Crohn's disease. The patch has improved the body's ability to improve the Crohn's disease. So it's the body doing the work. But that aside, we can't say that in public. But here we can, and I just wanted to show you. We see improvements in pain, back pain, knee pain. We've seen one member in South Africa who was, she was using a walker inside, a wheelchair outside, and now she's able to catch planes. She's just able to go shopping. It's amazing after using the X39 patch. I've seen improvements in Crohn's disease, such that somebody was able to reduce their medication. Now, in anybody who is looking to reduce their medication or finding they need to do it in conjunction with their doctor. In fact, anybody who does have an illness that's being managed by their doctor, they do need to take these patches and go and discuss it with their doctor and say, look, I want to try these patches. Is that all right with you? Because that's the way of the world at the current time. Blood pressure, we've seen people manage to improve their blood pressure so much that they no longer need medication. That's not going to happen to everybody. It may not happen to you, but there will always be other additional improvements as well. I've put in the other pages of testimonies just because there are so many things, and seeing one of these titles might just trigger a thought in your mind of somebody who this might help, or somebody who you know who would benefit from hearing about this. So with migraine, we see improvements, tinnitus, asthma, fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is such a problem of the current times. A lot of it's partly due to vitamin D deficiency. So when we are using the patches, we also recommend optimizing your diet, exercise, sleep, stress management, and supplement regime. We don't say that these will take you, that you don't need to take supplements anymore. I do feel that you need to take supplements as well, but you may find you can reduce the quantity. Okay, so Rick, I'm sorry you're seeing blurry pictures. I'll answer that at the end, Dr. Rogers. There's no long-term risks, but some people do experience a temporary detox sensation, just as they can with other holistic remedies. So fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, diabetes. We've even seen one person's diabetic retinopathy improving, although there might have been other things involved in that. We see improvement in Parkinson's. One lady's, very early on, I joined in February 2023, and I heard an early testimonial about Parkinson's, which completely blew my mind. In fact, there were several where people with Parkinson's disease who had been flat and immobile and unable to react were able to actually stand up and give talks like this in the room and give their testimonial when Chris and his team does their in-person talks. So that's amazing. Strokes, we've had somebody coming and giving a testimonial at our last talk in Haywards Heath, where her prolonged stroke recovery, she was just stuck in one place. And once she started the X39, she saw a much more rapid an improvement rather than stasis, and she was able to throw her stick away. It was amazing. And she also had a breast cancer story as well. Gallstones. And another thing I'd like to mention is autism stroke ADHD. So autism, we have many cases of children and adults with autism and ADHD, particularly children who have, some of whom have severe symptoms. And okay, so they're not, if they start off with severe symptoms, they're not going to end up being, at the top of their game. But we have seen significant improvements. We've seen Javi and Olga, who are in our upline. They have a son, Alex, who was 9 when they started patching him. On that first day, they looked out of the kitchen window and saw him managing to swing the swing. They thought, that's funny, his brother's upstairs. And they went out and he was managing to swing it himself. He loved the swing, but he needed his parents or his brother to push him constantly because he never got the hang of adjusting his weight for that swing. But very soon after starting the X39, they saw this improvement. And this is a boy who's been taken abroad for stem cell injections on 2 occasions with no improvement and vast investment. Then later on, the next week, he started pointing at the Peloton stationary bike, and he was never able to use a bike. Now he's able to use a bike in the park with stabilizers. And at our recent London convention, Olga and Javi shared the most amazing video that there was not a dry eye in the house because it showed so much vast improvements. And he's even verbal now. He's even able to say pizza, dad, etc., which he wasn't before. And for those of us who are in the healing professions, what we want more than anything is to make an impact and to reduce the suffering in this world. And suffering, there is so much of it about, and it's not just health suffering, but financial suffering. So let's look at this. This is info.com. I'd like you to maybe take a photograph or screenshot of this page, because this is info.com is the most valuable website you will find. It tells you all about the X39. And for anybody who's going to it, they can just go in superficially or they can go in deep. If you've got somebody who is a scientist or a doctor and they want to look in depth, they can find the studies, they can find the patents, they can find interviews with doctors. If you've got somebody who just can't be bothered with that, and different people have different personalities, and that's absolutely fine. If they just watch one video and decide they want to give it a try, that's absolutely fine. And there is a page on that menu of testimonials that has all of those listed, that you can see things like eye improvement and bladder control and sleep. So there's a lot of testimonials there. Each of those buttons on that page of the website leads to several videos. So you may be asking yourself, well, how much does this cost? This sounds very expensive. And I'd like you to put that into perspective. So don't think of it in terms of a poor quality supplement like Centrum, or even a good quality supplement like Pure Encapsulations. What we're doing here is we need to compare it with stem cell injections, because it's having that degree of impact on the body. And stem cell injections don't cost $10,000 for a full course. They cost more like £35,000 every 6 months for one of my clients. And there's a 50% chance it won't work. Whereas with the LifeWave patches, we're finding them more effective at a fraction of the cost. So yes, they're not cheap, but don't forget, there is the opportunity for you to actually make this money back if you decided to run this business like we do, in a business-like fashion, if you wanted to do that. And I know that the vast majority of people do not want their own business, but there are some with an entrepreneurial spark who is maybe looking at this and thinking, hang on, this is something with potential, and they would be quite right. So the retail price for the X39 is $149.95. The X49 is the same, and there are some other patches that are less expensive. But you can buy it retail price, wholesale price, or free. There's the wholesale price, which is $99.95. There will be local tax and shipping. So in the UK, we have an additional 20% tax to pay and a $6.50 Brexit fee, as well as postage and packing. But, you know, in the end, it comes out at about £159.95, I reckon. I've calculated it's about the same in pounds instead of being a conversion as you'd expect. So that's how much they cost, the X39. And we recommend that you purchase an enrollment kit by getting in touch with the person who invited you to this talk today. And they will be able to help you to choose the right kit for you. We have here the core pack, which is equivalent to 3 sleeves of X39. And remember, I have said that everybody needs at least 90 days of X39. So if you're on your own and you want to do your 90 days, then this is a perfect pack for you. If you want to, if you've got a partner and both of you want to give it the 90 days, why not get the advanced pack? And these give you the cheapest, the lowest investment cost per sleeve that's available. This one actually is the cheapest, obviously, because it's such a bulk buy. But it's really for the serious business person. Or I have had people who are living abroad and want to buy their year's worth or their 20 sleeves worth in at one time and then ship it from another country where LifeWave is open. Another option, if you really cannot stretch to the core pack, is to buy the starter pack for $25 and then buy 1 or 2 sleeves. But I would recommend you get started with the core pack and talk to the person who invited you to this talk to find out more about the different patch types that are available and different ones for different situations. So in short, you have an incredible opportunity before you today, the opportunity to bring the healing power of light to everyone around you. We are in the right place at the right time with the right product, and there's a place for everyone in LifeWave. You might want to be just a wholesale customer. You might want to be a retail customer. You might want to be a referral partner. You might want to be a business builder or entrepreneur. And we have space for all of you, and we have all the support that you need to make a success of this. I'd just like to play this.
We all hope to age gracefully so we can enjoy our later years full of energy, vitality, and good health. But so often, with age, our bodies start to show signs that things just aren't as they used to be. Our energy, skin, healing and recovery time, sleep, it all just seems to go downhill. Unless you're using LifeWave. David Schmidt, our founder, creative force, and world-class inventor behind LifeWave technology, has recently achieved something in the field of regenerative science with a single LifeWave patch that researchers worldwide, spending years and billions of dollars, could not. Introducing LifeWave X39, the world's first product ever to activate stem cells. A true breakthrough in regenerative science that helps restore our bodies to a healthier, more youthful state in a way no other product can. The secret? By harnessing the power of LifeWave's patented phototherapy, X39 uses light to elevate a peptide proven to signal the activation of stem cells. Think about it. These are the cells that generate and regenerate all the cells and structures of the human body. They're the building blocks for our organs, tissues, blood, and immune system. They also serve as an internal repair system everywhere. But as we age, stem cells become less effective. Their ability to repair damaged tissue is reduced. In fact, by age 60, they've slowed dramatically. But all that changes when just one LifeWave X39 patch is placed anywhere on the body each day. Instead of older and less effective stem cells, X39 supports the production of younger and healthier stem cells. This amazing level of control over your vitality and well-being was simply not possible, let alone this easy, until now. And the best part? Like all LifeWave patches, X39 is safe, non-invasive, and incredibly cost-effective. Look what people are saying about LifeWave X39. Backed by clinical studies, multiple patents, and 20 years of development, any one of these benefits would be impressive. But X39 is so effective, it can influence everything about your body, how you look, feel, perform, and heal. It's time you experience the power of X39. Imagine investing in companies like these when they first went public and riding their growth to where they are today. Those who made wise decisions to get involved gained incredible wealth. Now it's your turn. When it comes to regenerative anti-aging science, stem cells are the future. And thanks to LifeWave, you are at the forefront of it all. Don't miss out. X39 puts you on the threshold of explosive growth in your business like no other product ever could. And all you need to do is try it and share it with others. The LifeWave X39 patch, an absolute breakthrough. For your body, for your business. Live long, live well, live younger. Experience the power of LifeWave today.
Great. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about things from a business point of view now, okay? LifeWave itself is a 20-year-old company, so well established. It's not going to go under at the drop of a hat, or we don't think it will. No, it definitely won't, because it's in a growth phase. I was just remembering places like Woolworths and Debenhams and B8 British Home Stores, for those of you in the UK, and how things have changed so much in the high street. But because LifeWave works virtually, the problem with those businesses that gave up was that they didn't convert, they didn't adjust to changing circumstances. Whereas this is something that LifeWave has done very, very well. We are now the fastest growing network marketing company in the world, and we are actually part of the fastest growing team in LifeWave, and therefore the fastest growing team in network marketing. Here we have David Schmidt on the left, and here we have Steve and Gina Merritt, who are the leaders of this largest team. So lots of awards. And I'd like you to stop for a moment and I'm going to slow down. This is me trying to finish in half an hour, you see. I'd like you to pause for a moment and take a deep breath and put your hands on your heart. And just think for a moment, what is most important for you in your life? Is it health? Is it family? Is it time freedom, security, travel, less debt, helping other people, leaving a legacy even? These are all things that LifeWave can help support you with. And it's good to take a moment and reflect on these. For me, it's all of these. It's all of these. And for many of my friends who are LifeWave partners as well, I believe. So within LifeWave, there are 4 streams of income. There's retail profits, the product introduction bonus, binary commissions, and matching bonus. I'm only going to touch on these very briefly. First of all, retail profits are when you purchase at wholesale price or cheaper. If, for example, you bought the premium pack, then you've got them for about $84 per sleeve. And then you can sell at that retail price of $159.95. The product introductory bonus is if you are a brand partner, when you personally enroll a new member, you get a little bonus, okay? Or a bigger bonus if it's a premium person. And then there's a compensation plan, which is what we call a binary compensation plan, which involves you gaining income from the people who you are supporting in your team. And it's a really powerful plan because of the fact that it's a true binary, and people who are in my team they have their team, their own team built partly by me, because I'm putting people within their team as well. It's the way it works. And this can be explained to you later if you are interested in finding out more. And then we have the matching bonus, which is considered by the leaders the eighth wonder of the world, where you have additional income potential, which is actually unlimited. And when we look at the compensation, the binary compensation plan, you can earn up to $25,000 each week from binary. So there is a lot of income potential here. Now, for those of you who want to look into the compensation plan in more depth, this is a very, very thorough, complete video created by Chris Hattinge, and it's about 40 minutes long. But there are lots of shorter ones as well. So you can have a taster with the shorter ones, and I'll show you where to get those. So if you look at these two websites, we have the thisitinfo.com. These both are being created at great expense by Steve and Gina Merritt. It's their way of ensuring that the business is duplicatable. It means that you and I don't have to duplicate this work. We can just rely on what Steve and Gina have created, and Chris Hattinge as well, because we have what's called the toolbox, which is a giant PDF document that took him many, many hours to create. So we within the 333 team have that additional tool to hand. So this is it. Team.com is the training website. So if you're interested in the business and you want to know to what degree we have backup, you can have a look there. And there is one of the tabs on this, on this menu, you will see is the compensation plan. And that's got 2 or 3 different videos explaining the compensation plan. It's not something that you will get under your skin immediately. It will take you about 8 weeks of watching at least 1 video a week, and then you will really understand it well. And then we do have weekly Zoom calls. We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. We have Zoom presentations like this one. In addition, there are some that are for the middle of the night for me. You know, there's the This Is It team is based in the US, so there are a lot of additional US calls in Spanish and in English, and they're even doing some that are much better for the Australia New Zealand market as well. And then we have team training with every Thursday at 8 p.m. South African time, which at the moment is 6 p.m. UK time, but that'll change when we change our clocks at the end of this month. And then on Saturday, we have the This Is It team training. So there's training twice a week, and there are all these Zooms like this one where you can bring people who you are showing, with whom you are sharing this product and you think that might benefit from it. Either the patches themselves or the business, because that is another product of this business. And we have physical presentations as well. We now have some going on in the UK. Last Saturday we had one in Haywards Heath and one in Bristol. Then we've got one in April in Haywards Heath in Sussex, which I'm giving. And then we have multiple in South Africa. It's the way that Chris and Lucinda have really grown their business, because after COVID, let's face it, so many people are craving that personal connection. And then we also have this Facebook group, and there are other resources as well. So there's the YouTube This Is It team, but there's also the YouTube 333 team as well. So Richard Branson said, if somebody offers you an amazing opportunity, but you're not sure you can do it, say yes and then learn how to do it later. So there we have it. So let's have a little look. What are the different teams? Oh, Dr. Rogers, hello there. Yeah, so one of the things with network marketing is that we are helping each other. So I'm here, even though I'm here giving, supporting this group of currently 78 people, even though very few of them are actually part of my own team. And the compensation plan videos will explain the teams to you. Thank you, Desiree. And thank you very much, you guys, for helping me by being co-hosts as well. You're welcome, Pat. Any other questions? Has anybody got a testimonial? So those of you who need to leave, you can. And I'm sorry, it's gone on for 47 minutes. I did make it 30 minutes once, ever. But I do think the stories are powerful. Anybody got any testimonials they would like to step forward and talk about?
Dr. Allie, I can if you like.
Yes, please.
Okay. So we had the question just now about Parkinson's
Yes.
and Alzheimer's, and I was one of the first in South Africa to experience an amazing change in my husband.
Yes,
So
Desiree.
I
I
had
remember your testimonial was the one that really just blew my mind when I joined. Carry on.
Okay, so I got quite ill. My husband had been suffering from Parkinson's for about 8 years, and I'd got ill from the stress. I had kidney stones and gallstones, and it was a nightmare. Anyway, Wilson, my upline, came and he heard I was in pain, and he rushed over, and I tried to throw him out, and he wasn't interested. Anyway, I said, no drugs, no drugs. And he arrived with this patch. I like, what do you think that's going to do? But Desiree, you do healing, so you should know. So I'm saying, no, I don't know. Go away. So he put the patch on me eventually when I realized there was no drugs. And within 20 minutes, the pain started subsiding because I was in spasm. They were trying to come down the kidney and the gallstones. And my husband walked through, yeah, very painful, yeah, as we know. And my husband walked through the door because he was concerned that I was up. And with his hand shaking and shuffling along and trying to have a conversation. And I looked at his arm and my pain had started receding. So I immediately ordered the patches for his pain, right, on his arm.
Yeah.
And they arrived 2 days later. They rushed the whole thing for me because I'd been so ill, only to experience that exactly 24 hours later, after being patched, I passed over 20 stones.
Ooh. Was that agonizing?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
Kidney
ripping,
stones.
actually.
Kidney stones particularly
Yes,
are considered the most painful thing.
very painful. And they rip you. Anyway, I was just pleased that they were out, and I started this journey with my husband. And the first day, nothing. And I'm like, I was a 5 second wonder, really.
Yes.
And the third day, nothing, no improvement. And the fourth day, he shuffles down the passage and turns into my office, and he says, "Hello, darling." So he had been away for 8 years, mentally and emotionally. He had been away for 8 years. Yeah, it was very emotional.
You're muted yourself, Desiree. You're muted, Desiree.
So, sorry, thank you.
That's okay.
I'm just emotional.
Yes.
So the journey started, and my husband started walking up straight. He started recognizing, joking. He didn't always have a good day, of course. He's human.
Yeah.
And a year later, he was doing very well, and his hair started growing, and his posture was better, his cognition was better. We could tell jokes, we could socialize. He wasn't so aggressive, so tired, depressed. The biggest thing was the depression, I must tell you, Dr. Allie. The biggest thing for me was the depression and the cognition.
Yeah.
And in exactly a year later, he landed up in hospital in ER with a stomach ache. And with Parkinson's, as we know, it doesn't mean it's a stomach ache, right?
Yeah.
But we're in South Africa. And unfortunately, yes, the doctors didn't realize that it was a neurological thing. It wasn't actually a stomach ache. Anyway, I brought him home. He was a gibbering idiot again. and we've gone onto a protocol. And today my husband helped install a gazebo and fix the car's engine.
Amazing. Thank you so much for
No,
sharing, Desiree.
but just to tell you that his arm is still shaking.
Right. So
So
it can't heal everything necessarily. It won't heal everything necessarily. It's just, you know,
exactly. And we've got to be grateful for what our body can accomplish. And
exactly.
at our age, Dr. Ali, I mean,
Yeah.
um, Joss is 72 now,
Yeah.
and he's getting better.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
that's
wonderful.
just
It's wonderful.
amazing. Yes,
And
thank you.
incidentally, a month ago at one of our Hayward's Heath talks, we had a man come and stand up at the front and say that his back pain was so much improved that he had decided to start the business. He's 87.
Oh, wow.
He's
Yes, what
starting the business at 87.
you see now.
Yeah.
Isn't that just amazing?
It
I
gives
think
people
the
hope.
biggest thing, yeah, I was going to say the biggest thing seems to be the optimism, the
Yeah.
hope,
Yeah.
walking towards the light. I know it sounds weird, but yes, that's what it is.
Yeah. It's
And
huge.
anybody with any kind of problem or challenge should really give this a try. It's just hopeful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, Desiree. Your your testimonial was just one of the things that really made so much difference, and makes so much difference to so many people. Andrew, you've got your hand up. What can I do for you?
I just wanted to share a brief testimonial as well,
Lovely.
if I may.
Please do.
Um, I started patching last week, Wednesday,
Yeah.
uh, with the Aon patch because I couldn't actually afford to get the X39. We spent all our budget getting the X39 for my father-in-law with his Parkinson's.
Yes.
But I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and very high cholesterol in November last year.
Right.
But the thing that led to the discovery of the diabetes was the neuropathy pain in my feet and in my hands.
Yeah.
Uh, I didn't know what it was. I work on my feet most of the day. So I thought I'm just getting older. My feet are getting tired. But the pain was becoming unbearable, and it's not a regular sort of pain. So landed up obviously consulting my doctor, and we did some blood tests and discovered um, the diabetes and the cholesterol issue. So I've managed to get the blood sugar under control, and we will see a cholesterol test result at the end of next week. But I started patching with the Aon on Wednesday morning last week, and by Sunday morning, I woke up completely pain-free, and I haven't had the neuropathy pain since. So that's not even on the patch we've been talking about tonight, but it is a patch that has shown amazing results over the years.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing, Andrew. And I've got a nurse she'd had neuropathic pain in her right leg for 10 years. And it was just destroying her. And I put an Eon, I think I put an Eon and IceWave on her, and the pain went away. And she started using the X39. And after 5 days of the X39, she no longer needed the IceWave. And the pain is just going, and people are coming off opiates. It's crazy the impact this is having. And I want to just talk about Warren for a moment. Warren is in South Africa, and he was a victim of a passing by gunfight, and he was paralyzed from the waist down. I think he was in a wheelchair for 4 years, and once he started patching, he is now rock climbing again. It's crazy. So these effects we're seeing are just so powerful, so powerful. Anybody got any other testimonials or questions? Yes, Paul.
Hi everyone, can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you, Paul.
Excellent. Okay. So I started patching about 5 weeks ago,
Yeah,
and it was after a random phone call that I received from a very good friend of mine I've known for about 25 years.
yeah,
She knew that I had periodically had issues with ME,
yeah,
which meant that I had to take early retirement from teaching many years ago. And literally within a very, very short time, I was noticing so many of the results that, other people talk about all the time. But the biggest thing for me has been the fact that I then introduced the patches, the X39s, to a very good friend of mine. And she has suffered with fibromyalgia for about over 2 decades, certainly. Yesterday, she became a brand partner because she was so thrilled with the results that she is getting.
yeah,
And I think one of the best things about this whole company is where you can impact people like that, to the point, I mean, she hasn't worked for many, many years. And she phoned me not long ago and she said, Paul, if I get like a little part-time job, would you be a referee for me? And it's like that is something that I never, ever, ever expected to hear.
mm,
And just everyone else who we've spoken with about the patches, they've all had results of one kind or another. And it's just, we talk about the kind of emotional testimonials, but when you feel that you've had that kind of impact with someone else, someone that you care about, it's just beyond anything that I've ever experienced before, not only for myself, but all those around me as well.
yeah, absolutely. And as George said, what we have here, we have the ability to impact people's mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and financial health. And we all need help in those areas. That's great. Gina says her migraines have totally disappeared. It's incredible, and that's why I do feel it's important to mention the business at these presentations. A lot of people say, "Oh, I don't want you to talk about the business at all," but I think it's important to mention the business because so many people are suffering financially, especially since COVID. We know our jobs are insecure nowadays. Even doctors' jobs are insecure with AI and with certain government decisions, and you don't know whether the person you're talking to is suffering financially because they're not going to tell you because there is so much shame attached to that, and we can just impact people so much. So it just makes me feel so happy to be able to help people in this way. And Melanie says her neck and migraines that accompanied it have all gone away and her ligaments have tightened back up. So that's really great. Thanks, Melanie. And Favor is saying that food sensitivity and crawling and stinging sensations have all settled. That's wonderful. And Nicola says that her hot flushes have gone after several months as well. Wonderful. So you see, there are so many ways that it can impact those around us. It's well worth joining us. So speak to the person who invited you to today's presentation and ask for some help in deciding how to buy, what to buy, which package, and what way to approach this. So thank you very much, everybody. And thanks everyone for sharing. Such a great help. And look forward to seeing you next time. Okay, bye, everyone.